On a beautiful Saturday morning in April 2019, 28-year-old Michael Torres and his girlfriend of 3 years, 26-year-old Ashley Martinez, loaded their backpacks with water bottles, energy bars, and a first aid kit before heading out for what they thought would be a routine day hike at Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area, just outside Las Vegas, Nevada. The couple had been hiking together for years and were experienced outdoor enthusiasts who had conquered some of the most challenging trails in the Southwest. Red Rock Canyon was familiar territory for them, a place they had visited dozens of times before, making their sudden disappearance all the more mystifying. Michael worked as a software engineer for a tech company in Las Vegas, while Ashley was a nurse at a local hospital. They were both physically fit, well-prepared hikers who never took unnecessary risks on the trails. Their friends and family described them as responsible and safety-conscious, the type of people who always left detailed itineraries and expected return times. On that fateful April morning, they had told Ashley's roommate they planned to hike the Pine Creek Canyon Trail, a moderately difficult 6-mile round trip that they had completed successfully multiple times before. The couple was last seen by other hikers around 10:30 a.m. near the Pine Creek Canyon trailhead, where they appeared to be in good spirits and well-equipped for their adventure. They were carrying a day pack with plenty of water, snacks, and emergency supplies. Both were wearing appropriate hiking gear, including sturdy boots, sun hats, and GPS watches. Witnesses later reported that they seemed excited about the hike and were taking photos of the spectacular red sandstone formations that give the area its name. When Michael and Ashley failed to return by their expected time of 4 p.m., Ashley's roommate initially wasn't too concerned, thinking they might have decided to extend their hike or stopped for a late lunch. However, as evening approached and neither Michael nor Ashley responded to calls or text messages, concern began to grow. By 8 p.m., when there was still no word from the couple, Ashley's roommate contacted both of their families and eventually called the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department to report them missing. The initial search effort began at dawn the following morning, with Las Vegas Metro search and rescue teams deploying to Pine Creek Canyon along with volunteers from Red Rock Search and Rescue, a local organization that specializes in wilderness rescues in the Red Rock Canyon area. The search teams were experienced in the challenging terrain of the conservation area, which includes steep cliffs, narrow slot canyons, and desert conditions that can be treacherous even for experienced hikers. Search and rescue teams spent the first day thoroughly combing the Pine Creek Canyon Trail and the surrounding area, using both ground teams and a helicopter to scan the rugged terrain from above. They found no trace of Michael and Ashley along the main trail, which was puzzling given that the couple was familiar with the route and had hiked it successfully before. The search teams expanded their efforts to include adjacent canyons and off-trail areas where the couple might have wandered or become lost. As the search entered its second day, the scope was widened to include other popular hiking areas in Red Rock Canyon, including First Creek Canyon, Lost Creek Canyon, and the Calico Hills area. Searchers used trained search dogs, thermal imaging equipment, and GPS technology to try to locate any sign of the missing hikers. Hundreds of volunteers joined the professional search teams, including fellow hikers, rock climbers, and community members who wanted to help find Michael and Ashley. The search continued for over a week, with teams covering hundreds of square miles of desert terrain. They checked every trail, canyon, and climbing area in the conservation area, interviewed other hikers who had been in the area that day, and analyzed cell phone data to try to determine the couple's last known location. Despite these exhaustive efforts, searchers found no clothing, equipment, or any other trace of the missing hikers. The case became a mystery that haunted the Las Vegas hiking community and the families of Michael and Ashley. Theories ranged from the couple getting lost and succumbing to the harsh desert conditions, to the possibility of an accident in one of the area's many steep ravines or slot canyons. Some speculated that they might have been victims of foul play, though there was no evidence to support this theory. The complete absence of any physical evidence made it impossible for investigators to determine what had happened to the experienced hikers. As weeks turned into months, the active search was eventually scaled back, though the case remained open and investigators continued to follow up on tips and leads. The families of Michael and Ashley organized their own search efforts, hiring private investigators and consulting with psychics and other unconventional sources in their desperate attempt to find answers. They also worked with local media to keep the story in the public eye, hoping that someone might come forward with information that could help solve the mystery. The first anniversary of the disappearance came and went without any new developments. Michael's parents had offered a substantial reward for any information leading to the discovery of their son and Ashley, but no credible leads had emerged. The case began to take on the characteristics of many missing persons cases in wilderness areas, where people seemed to simply vanish without a trace, leaving behind only questions and heartbreak for their loved ones. Local hikers and outdoor enthusiasts continued to keep an eye out for any sign of the missing couple during their own adventures in Red Rock Canyon. Search and rescue volunteers made special efforts to check remote areas and off-trail locations that might have been missed during the initial search. The case became a cautionary tale that was shared among hiking groups and outdoor clubs, reminding people of the importance of staying on marked trails and maintaining communication with the outside world. 2 years after the disappearance, a documentary film crew investigating missing persons cases in national parks and wilderness areas came to Las Vegas to interview the families and search teams. The documentary brought renewed attention to the case, but also failed to uncover any new evidence or leads. The filmmakers concluded that Michael and Ashley had likely fallen victim to the harsh and unforgiving environment of the Mojave Desert, though they acknowledged that the complete absence of any physical evidence made this conclusion largely speculative. The third anniversary of the disappearance was marked by a memorial hike organized by the families and the local hiking community. More than 200 people participated in the event, which began at the Pine Creek Canyon trailhead where Michael and Ashley were last seen. Participants carried photos of the missing couple and spread out along various trails in Red Rock Canyon, both to honor their memory and to continue the search for answers. As the fourth anniversary approached in April 2023, the case had largely faded from public attention, though it remained an open wound for the families and friends of Michael and Ashley. The search efforts had been exhausted, the reward money remained unclaimed, and investigators had no new leads to pursue. It seemed that the mystery of what happened to the young couple would join the ranks of unsolved disappearances that plague wilderness areas across the country. On the morning of April 15, 2023, almost exactly 4 years after Michael and Ashley vanished, a local jogger named David Chen was running on one of his regular routes along a fire road that provides access to some of the more remote areas of Red Rock Canyon. Chen was an experienced trail runner who had been exploring the area for over a decade, and he knew the terrain well. On this particular morning, he decided to take a detour from his usual route to explore a narrow canyon that he had never investigated before. As Chen made his way into the canyon, which was accessed by scrambling over some boulders and through a narrow opening between two massive rock formations, he immediately noticed that the area felt different from the more popular hiking destinations in Red Rock Canyon. The canyon was narrow and deep with steep walls that blocked out much of the sunlight, creating an almost cave-like atmosphere. The floor of the canyon was covered with sand and debris that had been washed down from the surrounding cliffs during rare desert rainstorms. About a quarter mile into the canyon, Chen's attention was drawn to something unusual partially buried in the sand and rocks. At first, he thought it might be a piece of trash or debris left behind by other hikers, but as he got closer, he realized he was looking at something that made his blood run cold. Partially exposed in the sandy floor of the canyon was what appeared to be human remains, along with fragments of clothing and hiking equipment. Chen immediately backed away from the discovery and used his cell phone to call 911, though he had to scramble back toward the canyon entrance to get a signal. Within an hour, the narrow canyon was filled with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officers, Clark County coroner's investigators, and members of the search and rescue teams who had been involved in the original search for Michael and Ashley 4 years earlier. The recovery operation was complicated by the remote location and the narrow confines of the canyon. Investigators had to use ropes and specialized equipment to access the site and carefully excavate the remains and associated evidence. The process took several hours, during which time the area was treated as a potential crime scene until investigators could determine the circumstances of the deaths. As the investigation proceeded, it became clear that Chen had discovered the remains of Michael Torres and Ashley Martinez. Personal items found at the scene, including Michael's distinctive watch and Ashley's hiking boots, provided positive identification even before dental records could be obtained. The location of the remains, in a narrow canyon that was well off, the beaten path and not visible from any established hiking trails, explained why the couple had never been found despite extensive search efforts. The condition of the remains and the evidence at the scene suggested that Michael and Ashley had fallen from a significant height, likely from the rim of the canyon above. Investigators theorized that the couple had been exploring off-trail areas and had ventured too close to the edge of the canyon where unstable rock or a simple misstep had caused them to fall. The narrow canyon had acted as a natural trap, concealing their bodies from the search teams and aerial reconnaissance that had been conducted during the initial search. The discovery brought a mixture of relief and renewed grief to the families of Michael and Ashley. While they finally had answers about what had happened to their loved ones, they also had to confront the reality that the couple had died on that beautiful April morning 4 years earlier. The families expressed gratitude to David Chen for his discovery, and to all the search and rescue volunteers who had never given up hope of finding the missing hikers. The case highlighted the challenges faced by search and rescue teams in wilderness, areas where vast expanses of rugged terrain can conceal accident victims for years or even decades. Despite the use of advanced technology including helicopters, thermal imaging, and GPS tracking, the narrow canyon where Michael and Ashley were found had simply been too remote and well concealed to be discovered during the initial search efforts. The discovery also served as a reminder of the inherent dangers of wilderness hiking, even for experienced outdoor enthusiasts. Red Rock Canyon, like many wilderness areas, contains numerous hazards including unstable rock formations, hidden drop-offs, and terrain that can be treacherous even for those familiar with the area. The case reinforced the importance of staying on established trails and maintaining communication with others when venturing into remote areas. In the months following the discovery, the families of Michael and Ashley worked with Red Rock Canyon officials to install additional warning signs and safety information at trailheads throughout the conservation area. They also established a memorial fund to support search and rescue operations in the area, ensuring that future missing persons cases would have the resources needed for comprehensive search efforts. The story of Michael Torres and Ashley Martinez serves as both a cautionary tale and a testament to the dedication of search and rescue volunteers who never give up hope. While their disappearance ended in tragedy, the eventual discovery of their remains provided closure for their families and answered questions that had haunted the Las Vegas hiking community for 4 years. Their memory lives on in the safety improvements made to Red Rock Canyon and in the enhanced search and rescue capabilities that were developed in response to their case. For David Chen, the jogger who made the discovery, the experience was life-changing. He has continued to be an advocate for wilderness safety and has worked with search and rescue organizations to help map and explore some of the more remote areas of Red Rock Canyon. His accidental discovery solved a mystery that had consumed the resources and emotions of hundreds of people, proving that sometimes answers come from the most unexpected places and at the most unlikely times. The case of Michael and Ashley also contributed to ongoing research into missing persons cases in wilderness areas, providing valuable data about how accident victims can remain hidden even in areas that have been extensively searched. Their story has been studied by search and rescue organizations across the country, leading to improvements in search techniques and technology that may help prevent similar cases from remaining unsolved for years. As visitors continue to enjoy the natural beauty of Red Rock Canyon, the story of Michael Torres and Ashley Martinez serves as a reminder to respect the power and unpredictability of the wilderness. Their tragic end, while heartbreaking, has contributed to making the area safer for future generations of hikers and outdoor enthusiasts who come to experience the majesty of Nevada's Red Rock country.